Hi, I'm Willie and welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone. I am glad you decided to watch this video about the SIP ALG. And what is the SIP ALG? The SIP ALG is the SIP Application Layer Gateway. And what the SIP ALG is supposed to do is supposed to help you if you're behind the firewall, and NAT is supposed to help initiate those SIP calls. But more often than not, what we see is that the SIP ALG actually can cause problems. It can cause jitter, it can cause drop calls, it can cause call setup to not work properly, it can cause one-way audio paths. And so a lot of times what your voice over IP provider, in fact, just go out to Google and do a search for SIP, which is Session Initiation Protocol, but it's what we're used to for voice over IP, free or open source voice over IP, not some like Toshiba BS vendor lock-in voice over IP, some proprietary protocol. So a lot of voice services use SIP. So go out, do Google search about SIP ALG, and almost everything that you're going to see from a provider says, please disable SIP ALG on your firewall. So whether you've got a USG or an edge router, I am going to show you how to disable the SIP ALG on both of those devices. Now, this is going to scale. I'm doing this on an edge router Lite, but it'll work on any edge router, and I'm also doing it on in UniFi 5.6.29, and whether you're using the standard USG or the USG Pro, you're going to be able to do this. So let's get over to it. So and before we actually do that, it's probably a good idea, if you're going to get SIP service, I would preemptively go ahead and turn this off. I just had to turn this off for a client on a Sophos XG device because they were getting one-way audio. So it's not something that's just Ubiquiti, it's almost every router you're going to want to probably disable this, unless for some reason the provider says enable it. So let's get down to it. So what we've got is we've got our edge router. So we're going to go ahead and log into our edge router. Now you can do this through the command line on the edge router, but we're actually going to use the config tree, and the config tree will then show us the command that we would actually run if we were SSH'd into the device. So we're going to go over to the config tree, and we're going to go over here to the system, conntrack, modules, and then we see this SIP module. And next to the word disable, we're going to click the plus. Now that's going to activate the commands that are in red. So it's going to do a set, system, conntrack, module, SIP, disable. And you'll see that here in just a second. And when we click preview, these are the commands it's going to commit. Set, system, conntrack, module, SIP, disable. So if we apply this, we should get a green check mark. That is going to mean that the SIP ALG on the edge router is disabled. Yes, the configuration has been applied successfully. You can see the other ALGs that exist here. FTP, GRE, H323, PPTP, RTSP. It looks like TFTP is also in there. So if you're having problems with some of those other things from behind the router, you could also disable the application layer gateway for those. Now, like I said, this will work on any edge router, right? So it's system, contract, modules, SIP, disable. And that's whether you're doing it from the command line. If you're doing it from the command line, you would actually put set in front of that. So let's hop over to UniFi. So you're going to log into UniFi, and you're going to go to settings. You are going to go to routing and firewall. You're going to go to firewall, then you're going to go to settings. And these conntrack modules should look very familiar. And the reason that they should look familiar is because inside every USG, there is an edge router waiting to bust out. Because the USG actually runs EdgeOS, and then the UniFi software layer is on top of it. So you can see we have the exact same conntrack modules or ALGs here. So for SIP, we're going to click the little fancy button there, the little switch, and we're going to turn that off, and we're going to hit apply changes. And at this point, if you're having problems, they may have just cleared up. You may have to do some other things, port forwarding, depending on the providers. I've seen some real weird things with some providers where we've, I don't know, just some real weird things. But I would say that probably 90 to 95% of all of the SIP problems are cleared by disabling the ALG that I've seen. Otherwise, it's been some other gross misconfiguration. But that is it for tonight. More great videos coming. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please copy and share. Please comment and share, or copy and share the link. You could do that. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to buy an EdgeRouter or USG, please use those Amazon affiliate links down there. If you need consulting, the links are also down there for that. And as always, we will see you in the next video.